Hi, and welcome to our cooking show.
Today we're going to make two traditional British dishes. First we're going to make minced pie and then a dessert, traditional Dorset apple cake.
And I, Nordog, will be making the minced pie.
And I, Rawdon, will be making the traditional Dorset apple cake.
Welcome to our cooking show.
Yes.
I will be making a minced pie, and for this you will need one large jar of minced meat, about 600 grams, and you will need two satsumas that have been segmented and finely chopped. You need one apple that has been finely chopped, and one zest of a lemon, and a little bit of icing sugar for the dusting. And for the pasting on the minced pie, you will need 375 grams of plain flour, 260 grams of unsalted butter that has been softened. You need 125 grams of castered sugar plus a little extra for sprinkling. And you need one large egg and another beaten egg for the glazing. Okay, first you're gonna put 375 grams of plain flour into the bowl, which we have here, about that much. And then we take 260 grams of the softened butter and place that into a big bowl also. So here we take that and chop a little bit, about 260 grams, 250. Take this and put it right there. And once you're done with that, add 125 grams of castered sugar here, about that much is about 125 grams, and add one large beaten egg. So like that, and then you just mix it together. Once you're done with mixing everything together, pour it onto a lightly floured surface and then mix everything together. This is how it should look like if you have mixed everything together just fine, and this is what it's supposed to look like if you have done something wrong, like mixing everything together too much. When you're done with folding the pastry, you wrap it in a cling film and let it cool for about 10 minutes. And while you're waiting, you can see how it goes for Rawdon.
Wow, that's interesting, Nordog. Now it's time to make the dessert. Come here. Okay, so for this you'll need 150 grams of unsalted butter, and you'll need to dice this later. 225 grams of flour, 150 grams of sugar, um, 6 to 8 tablespoons milk, and 225 grams of apples. Shit. And 100 grams of sultanas. Start with putting the oven on 180 degrees Celsius. Then take a baking tin and butter it. When you're done with the baking tin, follow these simple steps. Now, grab a bowl and put flour and cinnamon into it. Add the butter and knead it all together. Delicious. Beautiful. Knead it until it becomes crumbs. Like this. Then stir in the sugar and add the beaten egg. After that, start adding the milk until it becomes a nice thick batter, like this. Now, take the apples and peel and dice them together with the sultanas. When you're done with that, put them into the baking tin and add the batter into the baking tin. Now, when you're done with that, put the baking tin in the oven for 30 to 40 minutes or until it gets a golden color. Now, when the baking tin is in the oven, let's go and see how it goes for Nordo.
That's interesting, Nordo. But now we're back 10 minutes later, and now you can take the minced meat and put it into another bowl, like that. Pause. Okay, then add 2 segmented satsumas, and then a finely chopped apple, and then a zest of a lemon. Then you put the oven on 220 degrees Celsius. While you're waiting for the oven to get warm, you can roll out the pastry that should be done. That should be about 3 millimeters long. You take the roller here. Then you take a cutter that is about 10 centimeters and cut 16 bases. Like that. And then you want to put them into muffin trays. Like that. Okay. Then you add 1.5 tablespoons of minced meat into each of the muffin trays. Then you take a brush and a little bit of beaten eggs and put it on the muffin trays. Okay, then you take the extra bit of pastry and you re-roll it out for about 7 centimeters, and then you cut a little bit for the lids on the muffin trays, like that. Then you add a little bit of more beaten egg and put that on the lids. Like that. And then you take a little bit of extra caster sugar and sprinkle it on top of it. And then you cut some holes inside of the lids. Like that. Then you can place it on top of the muffin trays. And now you put it in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. Like that. Then once it has those minutes have passed, you can take out the muffin tray, place it on here, and then before you serve it, let it cool, and then while you wait for it to cool, you can sprinkle a little more casting sugar on top of them. And then you just wait for it to cool, and then it's ready to serve.
Oh, look how shiny it is! The traditional Dorset apple cake is best served when still a little warm. Thank you very much for watching at Northern Gamsars and Rordon Gamsay's cooking show, Thou Art the Masterchef.